What is up, everybody? Gary Simon here, and just yesterday, Adobe announced a bunch of new updates from their Adobe Max conference, and one of them is something that really caught my eye, and that is the ability to generate AI vector graphics. Now, in the past, I had videos where I could show you how you could vectorize basically rastered graphics that are generated by something like Midjourney, but for today, we can now utilize Adobe Illustrator to create vector graphics with prompts from scratch. And there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. So we're going to go ahead and build a real quick fictional layout for like a bowling league or something using vector graphics that were generated with Adobe Illustrator. And you can see that's very, very cool. It's not just a prompt and you get the thing. There's a lot of things you could do with it after. And there's different types of assets that you can actually go ahead and generate. If you enjoyed this video, check out DesignCourse.com where you can learn UI, UX, CSS, and more with my custom interactive platform that makes learning fun and easy. So if I zoom up here, you'll see over here in the properties panel, we have 4 different types. We have a subject, we have a scene, we have an icon, and we have patterns. And so I've used all 4 of these. And scene, for instance, this will generate kind of like what you see right here. These are sample prompts that you can click and it will show you what it generates. I really personally don't want like a whole scene. This would actually be cool for something like parallax, where you have like a web page that has a whole illustration behind it. You scroll down and parts of it shift up and it makes it look 3D, or like it has depth. But for me, I don't really want to generate a scene. I do want to generate a subject. And we'll take a look at icon and we'll take a look at pattern as well, which is very, very cool. It will generate seamless patterns that are AI, and you can just export those and save them and use them as like website backgrounds or background for a specific div or something or whatever. So let's go ahead and let's do a pattern. All right. Sample prompts. These are really cool looking patterns, by the way. So if I click on one of these, it's gonna generate new images based on the prompt that was already there, which basically would be considered a variation. Now this basically takes, and I'm not speeding this video up, maybe like 15, 20, 25, 30 seconds, and you're gonna have your assets, and you have 3 of them from which to choose from. So if I get a rectangle out on here, and let's get rid of the stroke, and I click on these patterns, you'll see what it came up with. Just take a look at that. This is not something that you would have to purchase. It is seamless, meaning it is repeating. And it's a really cool pattern. It would take a while to try to get everything set up here so that it just repeats seamlessly. Here's another one and another one, and this is all based on a single prompt, tropical forest leaves. So take with that what you will. It is very cool. So for us, let's see if it'll do something with bowling. So I'm literally just going to type bowling because I don't know how specific I need to get, and I'm just learning this. There are some controls here, color controls. So for instance, if you only want to specify like 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 or 1 different color, it's going to use that color. And then you can also have presets like warm colors, cool colors, etc. So I'm just going to let it do whatever it wants for now. And I'm just going to type in bowling. I could probably get more specific and do something like bowling pins, bowling balls, people getting mad because they suck at bowling. I don't know. But I do want to have like a repeatable background so that it can add some interesting visual interest in maybe perhaps empty areas of the design. So we're just about done here. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Look at that. Let's check out, so let me zoom up here. I don't know what these are. It's like little pills coming out of the bowling ball. So you will see interesting artifacts like this in some of the examples. This one looks like an emoticon over here. Let's try a second variation. Okay, looks like a tie, honestly. Now this is much better. It kind of has some interesting just shapes to it. I think this is great. All right, that's actually pretty awesome. Now, there's another feature. I'm not sure if it's going to work well with this. I think it will, because you can edit these patterns. And the way you do that is you come over here, and this is the one we want. We click Edit Pattern here in Illustrator. And if I zoom out, you'll see now we have access to the actual vector anchor points, and we could select them, and we could change colors. So what's really cool is if actually right now everything is selected here, we can go up to edit. We can go to edit colors, and then we could choose recolor artwork. Now when we do this, it's going to bring up this right here, this little screen. And there's two tabs, recolor and generative recolor. That's what I want to take a look at. So you can actually enter a prompt that is based on an AI prompt that is based on colors or something like that. Or you could use these sample presets like terracotta desert. Let's check that out and see what that ends up generating. So if I click it, okay, interesting. And what's interesting here is some of these, the previews don't match up with what they look like over here. That's one weird thing that I saw. But this is just a really quick way to just get real quick color ideas based on your prompts. I'm going to leave it like this one right here. Just go back. So now we have a repeatable pattern that we can then use on our web page. And depending on where we want to put it, whatever, we'll piece this together here in a second. So now let's just switch from pattern to a subject. All right, so a subject would be something like, for instance, a person bowling. And there's also this option here, match active artboard style. And we do also have some other specific settings that are specific to subjects right here. So there's a style picker. There are sample prompts down here. You can see what subjects are. It's kind of like the main thing, the main focus. You have a pattern, which could be like a background element. You have the scene, which could be the whole scene itself. But the subject is kind of like the focal point. And then icons, of course, are like small icons. So let's type in person bowling and just see what happens. Person bowling. Now this, let's undo that. There we go. And let's hit generate. Okay, here it is. So here's our first one right here. She does have what I believe is called a cleft palate right there. But overall, I'm not too, I would not use this. I mean, you can get in there with what's called the direct selection tool right up here. And you can just literally select elements and delete them if you wish. You could change colors specifically, on your own, or use regenerative AI. Here's another one. All right, this one's much more simple. I would get rid of this pin, this bowling pin. This ball is looking pretty big. Let me just show you how I would modify this real quick. So if I duplicate this and I come over here, so I would probably just take this, delete it. I would select this ball and everything that's a part of it, and his hand is a part of it too, and then just scale it down and try to get it to fit in there. So like that would be much better. That's a huge bowling ball. Don't bowl with a ball that big. All right, it would probably be pretty heavy too. And so that one's not too bad. It's definitely better than the first. And then we have this one right here. All right, so it's a kid with a bowling ball here. Has a little icon on it, and that's fine. Let's do one more. Let's say woman bowling. We'll do one more just to show you what this thing is capable of. All right, so here is the next one. So she's like sitting in a pool of water with some bowling balls with big old, she must have big chunky fingers. Those are really big like finger holes right there. But we have to play the pins over here. It's actually pretty cool. It's like whimsical. There's nothing too bad about this. Here's another one. And then here's another one. What they do to her teeth. She has like a single tooth right there. So the balls are not that great looking. And so I would probably opt for, if I click this is actually not too bad right here. Let's just stick with that. So we're going to use her as our subject, like our focal point. And then let's go ahead and look at icons, because I haven't even personally messed with an icon-based prompt yet. So geometric sunflower, this is almost like subject, but I think they're just going to be a little bit more simplified. So let's go ahead and let's get, well, first what I'll do is take this, and my actual UI design app here is Figma. So we could just paste the SVG directly into Figma, and it's all editable there. You could change the colors, and you can You can access the anchor points, and you can remove these pins if you wish. But this is a really solid, for me, just literally just typing something and it just spits this out to me. And there's basically no work that I need to do. I mean, this is great. It's bad for the custom digital illustrators who sell this type of content, but it's good for everybody else. But hey, that's progress. So, and by the way, this AI, these AI generated results are never going to be as good as a true seasoned professional who does this from scratch. But the utility, of course, is A, is way cheaper, and B, it's way, a million times faster. So if I go back to our Adobe Illustrator window here and this repeating background, I think I'm just gonna take this whole thing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to see just to copy this and paste it into Figma. Yeah, see, it's empty. So what I could do just temporarily is I can zoom up here a bit, and I'm just gonna screenshot it with my screenshot tool, and we'll just copy that alone, and then I will paste that into my Figma. There we go. Okay, so we'll just get this over here. So now if I take this and I kind of, we'll just situate this over here. Maybe we'll put her, let's go right in direct center of everything. And then we'll have this come in the center. Actually, let's see about doing this. That would be kind of a real interesting layout. We could duplicate this, or rather, let's duplicate that. We'll change the image from to a fill color, and we're gonna grab one of the colors here, or maybe we'll get this color. Okay, so now it's standing out pretty well. Very nice. And then maybe we have some content right here. I kind of don't like how this part overlaps on there, so maybe we can make this just a lighter color, like this background, like that, and maybe even make it a smidge lighter. Okay, there we go. I like that. So now I'll get a quick headline. All right, so because she's a woman, I'm gonna make this relevant. We're gonna say bowling for breast cancer, like it's an awareness event or something like that. So if I do a large beefy font size of 70, we're not gonna use enter. I don't want to use pop-ins, even though that's kind of where I'm heading. Let's do Playfair display. There we go. We'll make it kind of fancy and higher and upper class bowling. There. That's so stupid. All right, so now let's go ahead and adjust the height here, the line height. Bowling for breast cancer. So this is all AI generated vector stuff, and now I'm just piecing together a layout based on what we created. So now let's do something. We could do something super simple for a subhead. Make it light. Maybe we'll do size 24. We'll go lower, 20. All right. Sign up to bowl and have a fun night out for breast cancer awareness month or something. Okay. We'll go smaller. Let's go 18 and then increase this. There we go. Awesome. And then now let's have an icon, a little associated icon. I don't know, maybe a bowling pin or something. And then we can utilize that here. And that way we can really, truly demonstrate how awesome this new feature is. So let's go back to Illustrator. And I'm going to now generate an icon. And it's going to be a bowling pin. Let's see what it comes up with. All right, so this first one I have to say is really ugly. The pin itself is actually pretty good if we isolated all this gray stuff with the weird colors. That doesn't work well. I'm imagining, however, if I go to edit and we go to edit colors, recolor artwork, and we go to generative and we just choose, maybe one of these options like this one, it's probably going to improve on the entire design. It just ended up choosing some colors that didn't go well. It's still not that great though. So I have to say this is a big fail right here. And they allow you to provide feedback on these. This one, let's get it moved out of the way and make it much smaller. All right, so this one, like I said, the bowling pin itself looks pretty good, but it's a little bit crazy here. Maybe if I had the same background color as the thing behind it, it could be pretty good. And unfortunately, this is making my, there we go. All right, so now let's get our layers, and I'll put this in the background. All right, and then we'll get this color right here. So that's actually, yeah, pretty decent. All right, let's select it again and see what this one looks like. So if I take this, for instance, and I go into here, and I paste it, you know, this could be something like, and it's a pretty heavy, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening here. What I would probably personally do is this. So I would take this, I'm just gonna ungroup it, and I'm going to just keep on ungrouping these things. I might actually do this inside of Illustrator first. So if I go back and I take the direct selection tool, I can do this, and I can start to get rid of a bunch of these things that, you know, I think it's just going to make your SVG graphic that much larger, and it's really busy. So I could probably also select with the magic wand tool these colors, and if I do that, it is selecting part of the pin. So I believe we can take, if I duplicate this, the tolerance, and put it down to like 2, and now it's only going to select a few of these. Let me go up to like 10. There we go. So this is making it a bit easier for me to make these modifications without affecting other parts of the actual pin. We don't want to do that one. Get rid of these. And then finally, just take a direct selection tool. Just select all these just to get rid of them. There's one of those little things that got at the bottom, so we could just take both of those. Looks like there's 2 different paths, and just hit I and just use the same color right there. And there you go. There's a very simple bowling pin. Now we can go back to our design in Figma, delete this one. And then what we could do is we could put our own circle behind it. So hit O for the ellipse tool, left bracket to put it in behind it. Maybe grab this primary color over here. There we go. We have ourselves an icon that was generated with the help of AI. So now we can just go ahead and put, maybe we'll use this type. Join up now or something like that. All right, so now we'll take this, make this bold and larger. And maybe we'll make it a primary color that's found over here, or we could make it the closest primary color, which is right here, or something like that. So now we have this nice little section right here that we can utilize. Maybe up here there's like a logo. Bowling people. That's the best I could come up with on the spot. All right, so and we'll go like 24 for that. So that's your logo, and then we can have like a navigation up here as well. And then over here we could also have a spot where we, maybe this might look better if it was on top. No, it wouldn't. Either way, overall, I'm very impressed. We could put something over here like a newsletter sign up or something. This right here, to do this from scratch before yesterday, would take a very long time. I literally did it on the fly, on the spot, within the course of 15 minutes or something like that. So this is incredibly useful. You can use this on your web pages now. For instance, you take this, right click, copy as SVG. There you go. You have your SVG code for your HTML and your CSS to modify it. And then this pattern, like if you wanted this repeatable pattern, that's a little bit more tricky as I understand it. I was able to do it. If we take this pattern and you just go over here and you come over here, you choose, let's go back to patterns here. It was this one. You choose to edit the pattern. And once you have this, you take the artboard tool, which is right there, and you basically get it to match up that square in the middle, your artboard size. So you pull this all in. It should snap to those sides, I believe. And we find the other end of it. It's very difficult to see. There we go. And now your artboard is completely sized to the exact same size as the pattern, repeating pattern itself. And when you do that, then you can just go to File, Export As, and then save as an SVG, and it will be repeating. Because if you look at each one of these objects on the edges, the other one repeats, so it's all repeating. Very, very, very cool stuff. Hopefully you guys all think that's very cool. I know I'm going to use it in the future. You'll probably see me in future video tutorials utilizing this feature because it's really awesome to get truly vector graphics with the help of AI and via prompts. All right, everybody, if you enjoyed that, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. Oh, and check out DesignCourse.com. Goodbye.